Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Marlena. I am a supplemental instruction leader for Econ 2201. I hold 2 sessions every week, Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 a.m. and then Thursdays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. The times and also the Zoom link to attend my meetings has already been posted in the announcements, so check it out if you're interested. You can drop by anytime, whether it's, for half hour, whether it's for 10 minutes, whether you're going to stay the whole thing, just to come by, ask questions. I cover the stuff you've been going over in lectures currently and also previously. So if you still have a question about something you saw in lecture like 2 weeks ago, you can still drop by and I'll work to help you understand, answer the question and, understand anything you're confused about. So over the last week, I have been covering the graphing assignment number 1 in my sessions. And this is just going to be a really quick video. I'm going to try and keep it under 10 minutes. And I'm just going to go over the graphing assignment number 1 just really quickly, just in case anyone had some questions about it but was unable to attend the SI sessions. So looking at it, I have the Word document up right here. Part 1, we're going to be looking at practice 10. We're going to go onto Ignithium, open practice 10, and go to question 1 and take a screenshot of that. I already have my screenshot right here. So let's see, that's all we have to do for part 1. We just need to get the screenshot and put it in the Word document. For part 2, we're going to draw by hand the supply and demand graph, and then note that for part 2, if you look at this, we're talking about the market equilibrium. So market equilibrium price, market equilibrium quantity, and then when we get to the consumer and producer surplus, we're also going to be doing that in the market equilibrium. So for right now, this screenshot I took has a price floor, but we're not going to be looking at that. We're going to be ignoring it. So this sketch that I made down here, I did not include the price floor for part 2 because we're not using the price floor right now. We're looking at just market equilibrium without that price floor. So here's my sketch. And then coming back up here, you're just going to go through and answer the problems. So, you're going to get your market equilibrium price, your market equilibrium quantity, and then you're going to shade in on your hand-drawn graph the consumer surplus, the producer surplus, and you're going to calculate the area for those. You're also going to get your total surplus, which is going to be the consumer surplus plus the producer surplus. So you're going to add those together, and that will give you your total surplus. So now we're going to go down to part 3. You're still going to be using the graph in your 1 screenshot. It's going to be 1 screenshot and 2 hand-drawn graphs. So using that same screenshot, you're going to draw your second graph now. And this is going to be with the price floor. So now we're going to be looking at the price floor. And so we have a couple questions about that. We're going to be looking at the prevailing price with the price floor. We're going to be looking at the quantity demanded, the quantity supplied, economic issues caused by the price floor. And then we're going to be looking at the producer surplus and the consumer surplus. So I also have my sketch down here, and I'm going to be looking at in this video, I'm going to be covering the consumer and producer surplus for this. So I'm going to be opening up a whiteboard and looking at this right here. So let's see. Okay, give me a second here in the whiteboard. I'm just going to do a really quick sketch of a graph. Sorry, that's my cat in the background, if you can hear the rattling. So we have our demand curve in blue, our supply curve in red. I'm going to just label these axes real quick. Right here we have the price. Down here we have the quantity. And then this right here is our demand, and this is our supply. Okay. We also have this price floor. Let's see, I'll draw it. There we go. Let me draw that in a different color. Okay, so we also have this price floor here. So let's say for this little like sketch that I'm drawing out right now, that our price floor is $70. Have this price floor of $70. And let's also take a look at our equilibrium price for this. And let's see, this equilibrium price looks like it's maybe about $45. So first we're going to look at the price floor, and we first need to determine whether or not this is a binding price floor. So firstly, we need to remember what a price floor is. A price floor is setting a minimum price in the market. So that means right here we have a price floor of $70. That means the minimum price in the market now has to be $70. So to determine whether or not this is binding, we need to ask, does this change the price in the market? And the answer is going to be yes, because previously at equilibrium, the price was $45, and now that price has gone up to $70. So this is a binding price floor, which means the prevailing price is going to be $70. If we had, for instance, this price floor was actually down here, and instead of 70, it was 20, this price floor is going to be non-binding. And the reason for that is it's setting a minimum price of 20, but the price in the market is already 45. So this is not affecting the market equilibrium. It's as if, this price floor is non-binding, and so it's as if there wasn't a price floor at all. The market is going to continue in equilibrium because this is a non-binding price floor. However, for our example, we do have a binding price floor, so I'm going to bring it back up here to 70, and I'm going to try and real quickly just go over the surplus. So in this market, in this example here, we have, whoops. Sorry. So in this market here, we are going to be having this new price of 70. If we look at the quantity demanded now in this market, we're going to go along the demand curve until we get to this new price of 70. We're just going to come down here. And in my example, this is going to be quantity demanded of about 5. For looking for the quantity being supplied in the market, we're going to go along the supply curve again until we get to this new price, and we're going to bring that down here, and this is going to be 17. So now we have this quantity supplied, or sorry, this quantity demanded over here, and over here this quantity supplied. And now we're going to look at the surpluses. So let me bring this over here. In blue, we'll do the consumer surplus. The consumer surplus is going to be above the price and below the demand curve. So here we have this, the producer surplus. Now, here's the important thing to note with the producer surplus. The producer surplus is going to be above the supply curve and below the price, but how far over here to the right are we going to draw it? The producers are supplying 17 units, but they are only able to sell 5 of those units because consumers are only purchasing 5 units. The suppliers can only benefit from the units they sell. So since they're only producing 5 units, the producer surplus is only going to come up here to the 5th unit, and this is going to be their surplus. Because they're not selling any of these other units, they are not going to be able to benefit from it, and so that is not going to be included in their surplus. The surplus is going to be just this trapezoid right here, and that's going to be the area that we're going to calculate for our producer surplus. So when we're calculating our consumer surplus, we're still going to be just using the area of the triangle, but now we have this trapezoid for producer surplus, so we're going to have to use a slightly different equation. The equation for the area of a trapezoid, I'm going to type it right here, area of trapezoid is going to be 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 times height. So our base 1 and base 2 are going to be right here. Let me do this in a darker color so it's more visible. Right here. This is going to be our base 1 and our base 2. So these are going to be our base 1 and our base 2. So that with those being our bases, that means this right along here is going to be our height, and that height is going to be our quantity demanded. So we have our height. Now we need to find our bases. So our base 1, let's say this is our base 1 right here, is going to be from the price floor here down to the intersect of the supply curve on the y-axis. So I didn't include the other numbers here. Up here is 100, and then down here is 26. So this right here is going to be 70 minus 26 is going to give us our base 1. And over here, again, we're going to start up here at the price floor and come down to this point right here. If you have your Ignitium window still open, you can just highlight over the dot and see what that value is right here. If you don't have your Ignitium window open, if you close the window once you took your screenshot, what you're going to do is notice what we're looking for is the price right here at the quantity of 5 units. So you're going to get your equation, whatever your equation was, say it was PV equals 26 plus 3 QV. Our QV, the quantity being sold, is going to be 5 here. So we're going to change that up for 5. And now we're just going to solve this equation. We now have PV equals 26 plus 15, which is going to be 41. So that tells me that this value right here is going to be, it's going to be 41. And so this base 2 for me is going to be 70 minus 41. So now that I have my base 1 is going to be equal to, let's see, what was that? Find it in my notes real quick. Okay, there we go, 44. Okay, so my base 1 is going to be 44. My base 2 is going to be, let's see, I think that was 29. Was it 29? Let me check. Sorry, let me check my notes again. Yes, it was 29. There we go. 29, and then my my height was going to be 5. So now that I have these values, I'm just going to plug them into that area of a trapezoid equation, and that's going to give me my producer surplus. And then our consumer surplus it's still a triangle, so it's just going to be the 1/2 base times height. So now that we have that done, we found our consumer surplus. That's how you find your producer surplus. I also went over how you find. I also went over the prevailing price with the price floor and the quantity demanded and quantity supplied. And that's going to have it for our part 3. So just a quick overview. Again, we have for part 1, you're going to go and you're going to take your screenshot of question 1 on practice 10 in Ignitium. You're going to put that into your Word document. For part 2, you're going to draw a picture of your graph. We're going to be answering the questions in part 2 without the price floor. You're going to be looking at just the market equilibrium without the price floor. Your part 3 is going to be drawing a second graph, this time with the price floor, and you're going to be answering these questions with the price floor. You're going to put in your answers up here. I haven't typed my answers up here yet, but you'll put your answers typed up here, and then you'll put your pictures down here. Make sure that your pictures are clear and easy to read. And that should be it. That should be the assignment. I hope it's pretty straightforward, and I hope you guys have a better understanding of it now. Please drop by the SI sessions if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Yeah, I think that does it. So good luck with your assignments and have a great weekend.